Welcome to the Legacy League Summer 17 Championship postgame. I'm Ryan, he's Greg, DeQuan, and Connor. Championship game going to be at 9 o'clock tonight. It's No Limit, and it's the Monstars. So guys, getting right into it, who is your favorite for tonight? We heard that maybe no Rashawn Hendricks, which No Limit would lose one of the two best defenders in the league. So how much does that hurt them?
I picked No Limit before we did the playoffs and everything, so I'm going to stick with them. I think that obviously without Rashawn Hendricks, it's going to be a lot harder. I think we all agree. Just defensively. Offensively, they got Terrell Vargas, they got Jalen Graham, they got Ty Sands, they got even Davin put in a few big buckets. He actually had a lot of and-ones lately, but it comes down to Rashawn defensively. You got arguably the most talented player in the league in Greg Langston, and then you throw in Eric in there, and you throw in Reggie in there, and you throw in Brett Cody, and then Pooch, and then I have a hard time believing, as someone who picked No Limit without Rashawn Hendricks, it's going to be really hard for them to pull this off.
Without Rashawn Hendricks, that means Ty Sands has to see a lot of play time, and that means he has to guard Greg Langston, and he has to guard him, pick him up at half court, and it's going to be hard, for him to do what he does on offense every night. He goes out there and he puts up 20. He can put up 20 plus points, but how efficient can he be guarding Greg Langston and also having to go down and put up points, because they're going to need him to put up points, because the Langston brothers are huge. They know how to play down in the physical in the post. And Reggie, he's up top with the ball. He can dribble, so So it's going to be a lot for Jalen Graham and those guys to handle. But we'll see. They're up to the test.
Yeah, with no Rashawn, it's definitely going to hurt them. I look at Rashawn kind of like the Avery Bradley of this league, where he's such a lockdown perimeter defender who also is capable on offense. Without him tonight, it's going to be not as felt as I think if it would have been if he wasn't here against the Brotherhood. He's more of a perimeter defender. You need him on guys like Mike Davis and Russ Payton. Where the biggest threat with the Monstars is the Langston brothers. They're big bodies. I think Terrell Vargas and Ty Sands are going to be the defensive factors tonight. So maybe the effects of Rashawn Hendricks might not be as felt as heavily tonight. But that's a benefit towards No Limit. That's kind of like an optimistic point of view for them. But for the Monstars, they got to really attack on the perimeter. Guys like Reggie Stewart need to look at that right now and say, hey, that's dinner for me tonight. I'm going to work. No Rashawn. I don't have a fly in my hair all night. So I would look to see Reggie have a big game tonight.
And No Limit came into this game with the most steals in the league. Losing Rashawn takes away a lot of those steals. So we mentioned the Langston brothers, specifically Greg, who was on fire from three in the All-Star game last night. You have Howie Miller on the other side, one of the best three-point shooters in the league. Is this a game you think is going to be decided at the three-point line or maybe below at the rim?
That's a good question. If Howie Miller gets hot, No Limit can absolutely win this game by even double digits. If Howie Miller is shooting the ball well, it's lights out. He's going to hit everything he can hit. But the thing, again, like you said, is a three-point. And it's really Greg Langston. He can kill you inside. He can kill you outside. And just like Stuckey said, Ty Sands is going to have to pick him up at half court. And, it's kind of worrisome. He's a young dude. I think Ronte told me he's 20, and he has the energy. But if you got to guard Greg Langston and then go down to the other side and score 40 for your team in the same game, that's a lot of energy that he's expelling. And it's really going to come down to the depth. I think if Ronte Burr can give a few threes here and there, Terrell can keep his hot three-point shooting up, I think they definitely have a chance. But I think the three-point shooting is something they're going to need to do well.
I think the game is won and lost at the free throw line tonight, only because without Rashawn Hendricks, it puts a lot of pressure on those big guys not to foul, because we know guys like Reggie can get to the basket. He can go past the best defender, and he can get right to the rim. And so it's up to those big men to stay home, play solid defense, not foul, try to get blocked, and make it hard around the rim. But I think the game was won and lost at the free throw line tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the three-point line like we start to talk about. I think whether Greg Langston gets hot or Howie Miller gets hot is kind of going to be the deciding factor in this one. Those are two, obviously, both were in the three-point contest yesterday, one of the best sharpshooters in the league for both sides. So I think it's really going to come down to who has that hot hand from deep, because, those threes, they add up. They're three more than two. So I like to see that game decided from the perimeter.
And Langston and Howie Miller working real well together last night in the All-Star game, but now they'll be against each other with the championship on the line. So, guys, here it is. It's the last game of the season. Who wins and who's your MVP?
Who do you think wins? Who's your MVP?
Monstars, and I think Greg Langston has a back-to-back MVP performance, having the All-Star game MVP last night.
I can't leave the No Limit bandwagon now, so I'm going to go No Limit. I believe in No Limit, and I think the MVP is going to be Terrell Vargas. I think he's going to have to do what he used to do in the Legacy Leagues when it was just him, John, Monte, and Howie on his team.
I'm giving it to Monstars, 85-80 exactly. And Greg Langston's gonna come out and have a big game, but it's really gonna be how well Reggie plays. That is really, I feel like it's gonna be the deciding factor this game. How well Reggie plays and penetrates, and that's gonna determine how hot Greg gets. So.
Yeah, that's a great analysis. I think Reggie's like, the low-key guy that you need to be paying attention to for No Limit, because all eyes are going to be on Langston. But I'm going to have to agree with Ryan. It's too hard to pass up Langston as the MVP of this one. He was so good last night against the best in the league, and he's arguably the best player in this league. So I'm going to have to go him. We haven't even seen him go 100% all season from what it looks like. Maybe at times. If he's going 100% this whole game, it's going to be a show to put on for Greg Langston.
All right, so there you have it. Should be a good one. You can watch it live on Facebook at 9 p.m. Thanks for listening to our little roundtable discussion here. Monstars No Limit, 9 o'clock on Facebook Legacy.